Welcome to day 9. Let's start with our breathing exercises. Today's practice is a little bit different from previous days because we won't be writing down anything afterward. Instead, we'll focus primarily on brush strokes and being present during each stroke. I have several classes on how to paint loose florals, so check them out if you want to learn how to paint them. But in this video, I'm going to focus on just leaves and the brush movement that's associated with it. We're going to practice just one type of brush movement to create our leaves. And as you practice this brush stroke, remember your breathing and mindfulness exercises so that you can let go of any worry or perfectionism. Let's set up our workspace. I'm using a 5x7 watercolor paper, my watercolor paints, and a size 6 round brush. Now it's important that your brush has enough bristles so that when we do the movement, your bristles will be able to fan out really nicely. The brush stroke is a fluid motion of press, drag, lift. Why don't we try this motion without the paint first? Take your brush in your dominant hand, pretend that this is the paper, press down, drag, lift. Press down, drag, press down, drag, lift. Let's try that again. Press down, drag, lift. Your brush and hand should be in the same position at the end and at the beginning, which is having your brush almost straight up and down. Now let me demonstrate with the paint. So start with your brush at an almost upright position. Place the tip of your brush right on the paper and then create a short line and then press downward so that the bristles kind of fan out like that. Then drag and then start lifting as you're dragging to create another point at the other end. Make sure your brush is sufficiently wet so that you have enough paint to drag. Let's try that again. Again, press, drag, lift. Press, drag, lift. Now, as you're doing this, notice how your wrist is bending. Observe how the pressure changes slightly from finger to finger as you press, drag, and lift. Now you don't have to create as large of these leaves as I have. You can create smaller ones. Just don't drag it for as far of a distance. Right? Those are some short ones. And again, as you're doing this, make sure to breathe. Be mindful of your movements. Now, after you do several of these, try putting 2 of those strokes together to create a slightly wider leaf. So you have one, and then start the other one right about here, about the point where you started to press. And then leave just a sliver of white space right in between so that it kind of looks like the vein of the leaf. It's okay if it's not a perfect, sliver of white space. If you only got that little beginning part, that's okay. As long as there is some white space, because if without it, it kind of looks like a blob, and we don't want blobs. Leaves are probably one of my favorite things to paint, especially when I don't know what to paint. It's a really simple movement, and I can kind of get lost in that movement as I do it over and over again. Now, if you wanted to paint some leaves in profile, your first stroke might look more like this. So that's the part of the leaf, the half of the leaf that's facing you. And then the other half that's behind it, you're just going to create just a thin line and still maintain that sliver of white space to give the illusion of a vein. Now, feel free to continue practicing leaves on more paper. You don't have to stop here just because, I'm running out of space. Now I'm going to grab one more sheet of paper because I want to practice putting multiple leaves on a single stem. But let's go ahead and finish out this page with some more practice. Okay, now let's try putting multiple leaves on a single stem. It's the same process, really, but we want to be mindful of the direction of our leaves so that we can try to make it look as organic as possible. So paint one single stem using just the tip of your brush, and then paint a leaf at the end. So now as you come down the stem, have a couple that are, fanning out the sides, but then maybe there are a few that are straighter, a few that are kind of wavy. So try to play around with that. You can turn your paper if you need to. Maybe you have another itty bitty leaf right there. Let's try it again. Get one long stem. Great job in painting leaves. Again, feel free to keep doing this so that you can get that brush movement down and then be able to do it almost effortlessly. I hope you found some calm in painting.